Thank you for joining us for this week's Altadena Community Meeting. My ongoing commitment with these meetings is to keep you all in the loop on the issues that affect you. That's why I want to make sure you are aware of new state legislation that could potentially impact Altadena residents if it is signed into law. Senate Bill 629, which has passed through the state legislature and is currently on the governor's desk, would expand how the state identifies wildfire hazard areas and draws maps of fire hazard severity zones. The bill would require the state fire marshal to newly define post-wildfire safety areas as an area that is burned on or after January 1st, 2025, and meets at least one of these three criteria. The wildfire burned 1,000 or more acres, destroyed 10 or more structures, or caused at least one fatality. This designation would trigger several actions. First, these areas will be included in the very high designation for the state fire marshal's fire hazard severity zones as of May 1st, 2026, or 90 days after a wildfire reaches 100% containment, whichever is later. Los Angeles County would have to publicly post maps within 10 days of receiving an official transmittal from the state fire marshal. These maps would show the newly added and expanded boundaries resulting from the Eaton fire. This new post-wildfire safety area would reflect the new classification, and Los Angeles County would update its general plan safety element 2. So if you're asking yourself, what does all this mean for Eaton fire survivors if the bill becomes law? The answer is this. All of the areas impacted by the Eaton fire would be required to be included in the very high fire hazard severity zone. Inclusions in the very high fire hazard severity zone then triggers other requirements. First, it requires that all parcels establish and maintain defensible space. Second, any buildings or structures on those properties must comply with the state's fire safe building code requirements, otherwise known as Chapter 7 and 7A. Additionally, any building or structures must comply with Zone 0, which was established by Assembly Bill 3074. Zone 0 requires that no landscaping materials that are likely to be ignited by embers are permitted within 5 feet of structures. The California Board of Forestry and Fire Protection is working on establishing the specific guidelines and requirements for this legislation. They are holding a meeting on Thursday, September 18, 2025, from 10:30 to 5 p.m. at the Pasadena Convention Center. I would encourage you to join these discussions and to share your feedback and suggestions. Now, the most important issue I want to raise is that the way that Eaton fire survivors rebuilding projects are permitted will change. The rebuilding process will require compliance with higher fire safe construction standards once the designation is in effect. Very high fire hazard severity zone requirements will apply 30 days after the state transmit the newly updated maps. I want to emphasize that Senate Bill 629 does not include an exemption for permits already issued. Local vested rights rules may apply, but Senate Bill 629 itself is silent on this issue. This means a rebuilding project's eligibility to be grandfathered in under existing local rules is not addressed in SB 629. Rebuilding requirements for Eaton fire rebuilds are based on their fire zone designation and accompanying fire code at the time the permit was issued. In addition, your property would also be subject to annual defensible space inspections beginning in 2027. With respect to Zone 0, requirements for the 5 feet clearance surrounding your home would take effect in early 2026, with a 3-year grace period for full compliance in 2029. I encourage everyone to get educated now about this legislation and how it would apply to your unique situation. I'll continue to keep you in the loop as updates occur. Thank you for joining us and staying engaged on these important issues.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to provide a permit progress update. My name is Kira Barnett, and I'm an Assistant Deputy Director at LA County Public Works in our newly formed Recovery Division. If we can go to the next slide, please. First, for a summary abatement update. There are 24 properties with debris remaining in Altadena. 5 of these are commercial properties, 6 are institutional or recreational lots, 2 are single-family homes, and 11 are multifamily parcels representing 43 units. Out of the 24 properties, 10 have fire debris removal permits and 14 do not. 5 of those with permits have started debris removal. Some of the commercial properties are going through additional regulatory reviews, site panel testing, and AQMD Procedure 5, which has delayed the debris removal. We are continuing to monitor these sites for progress. Properties are going through an abatement process. You can expect forced abatement of some of the remaining properties to start by the end of September and the rest to be cleared in October if needed. And if we could go to the next slide, please. For a permit progress update, 1,697 rebuild applications have been received by LA County in the Eaton fire area as of last Friday. Planning has cleared 1,314 zoning reviews. 1,136 projects have submitted full building plans and have advanced into the building review stage. Separate permits are required for each structure, and so we have a total of 1,410 structures that are in review or have their permits issued. Including all permit types, 240 parcels have active permits. On those parcels, a total of 334 structure permits have been issued, including 248 new residential units. 130 additional new residential plans have been approved and are pending clearances or the applicant pulling the permits. The average number of days from initial submittal to permit issuance is 71 days for new residential projects, which includes the time to create and submit the full building plans, time to respond to comments received, and for the homeowner to identify a builder and pull the permits. And if we could go to the next slide, please. Of the 334 permits issued, 127 projects have begun construction and called for early inspections. This count includes 101 new residential structures. And if we could go to the next slide, please. Speaking to homeowners or property owners, once you have engaged a design professional and plans are prepared and submitted for review, there are actions you can take to continue to advance your progress. First, ensure that you're connected to your application and permits in our permitting software, Epic LA. This will enable you to stay informed of the status of your project. You'll be able to see when plans are submitted, when they're returned with comments, and you'll be able to access all documents associated with your application. Visit epicla.lacounty.gov to register for an account and stay up to date on your project's progress. And if you can move to the next slide, please. One of the steps that you might be active or involved in is obtaining the necessary clearances for your project before a permit can be issued. Today, I will walk through what those agency clearances might look like. On screen, this is our agency referral sheet, which is used by our plan check teams to provide specific direction on the additional agency approvals that will need to be obtained before you can receive your permit. The required agencies that are needed are dependent on your scope of work. So upon our plan submittal, we'll screen the plans for completeness. And once it's verified that the design package is complete, we will prepare and upload an agency referral sheet specific to your project in Epic LA. As we work on reviewing your plans, you and your team can work on obtaining and uploading these agency clearances. That way, as soon as your plans are approved, we can verify all clearances and you'll be ready to pull your permits and move to the next stage of construction. So digging into what those agencies are, if we could go to the next slide, please. So walking through which agencies are required for rebuilds that take your action. The first is a water will serve letter from your water agency, and that is required for all rebuild projects. A will serve letter is an official document issued by your water company stating that the agency has the capacity to provide water service for your planned project, subject to specified conditions. We've worked with the water companies to create this form shown on screen to explain what a water will serve letter is, why it's needed for your rebuild, and how to go about obtaining it. This form is located on our roadmap to rebuilding page on the LA County Recover site within the permit process step. Even though water service existed at the address before, rebuilding can change several factors, such as water demand, for example, if additional building footprint or more water fixtures are proposed, current fire code compliance, including the necessary interior fire sprinklers for all new residential projects, minimum fire hydrant flow, and minimum water size requirements. And also there's changes in California water conservation laws and landscaping regulation that do require that water will serve prior to rebuilding. So once Public Works provides your agency referral document, it's advisable to contact your water company. Their review times can vary, but do expect the water company to need 10 days or more to complete their step. This is why it's good to be working with the water company while your plans are in active review, so that once your plans are approved, you have the needed documentation. Waiting to reach out to the water companies until your plans have been approved can cause unnecessary delays in the permit process. And if we could move to the next slide, please. For all fire rebuild projects, it's important that you engage Southern California Edison during the plan review process. Southern California Edison are involved with where and how power will be provided to serve your property. There are areas for which undergrounding is planned, and it will be imperative that you install an adaptable panel that can be served overhead for power and later converted to be served by underground power. These adaptable panels cost the same as the single panels, and they will prepare you to continue to receive power for the life of the panel. Working with Edison is the best way to stay informed on how to prepare your site now and for the future. A service request number from Southern California Edison is required for all fire rebuilds, for new accessory dwelling units, for newer replacement panels, and for temporary power. You can apply online at sce.com/partners. And if we can move to the next slide, please. School district fee payment is required only for projects which add 500 square feet or more from the prior permitted structures. Altadena is served by the Pasadena Unified School District. When you submit your full building plans, Public Works will evaluate if school district fees are required. If so, we will prepare and provide a school district form and attach it to the agency referral list. This form will include the total square footage of the property that is subject to developer fees. You can then email a copy of the application form and the agency referral to the district to determine the total school fees. We have worked with the school district to prepare an instructions document, which lets you know how to connect with them, what to provide them, various accepted payment methods, etc. And if we could move to the next slide, please. The one other item for your action potentially is LA sanitation, and that's only if you have a new sewer connection. So that will not apply to most fire rebuilds. But on the back side of the agency referral form, we provide you with items that don't require your action, but will be a part of your project review process. So at the top here, we include deferred submittal items, such as fire sprinkler plans, that will be required, but not prior to issuance or permits. So the front side again is for your action, and the back side will tell you these items are required later in the project, but not prior to pulling your permits. And then lower on this page, on the agency referral document, we're going to notify you of which county departments are reviewing your plans at the same time as the building plan review is being completed. And these referrals are made internally at the county, so there's no action required by you, but the notification is provided in the event that you receive contact or comments from the respective departments. And this concludes my update for today, and I thank you all for your time.
Hi, my name is Azar Katan. I'm the Deputy Director for Health Protection for the Department of Public Health. I want to share some important information for folks who are tenants in a rental housing unit in unincorporated Altadena area. Public Health has a rental housing habitability program that is authorized to inspect rental housing units in the unincorporated areas of the county for compliance with health and safety standards. Inspectors will respond to tenant habitability complaints in unincorporated Altadena related to potential fire-related impacts to their rental housing units. As you know, the devastating Eaton fire created significant amounts of smoke and ash that deposited downwind from the fire, and this smoke may have affected rental housing buildings and units that were in or near the burn areas. Fire-related smoke, ash, and soot can get into attics, insulation, or the building's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems and other ductwork, and may present a health risk to tenants. When Public Health receives a complaint, which can be filed online or by phone, a county rental housing habitability program inspector will contact the Altadena tenant and arrange a date and time to inspect the rental housing property and unit for smoke, ash, and soot issues. The inspector will also contact the rental property owner to discuss the inspection process and concerns raised by the tenant. For rental housing properties in unincorporated Altadena, Public Health presumes that they have been impacted by the Eaton fire and must be mitigated. Thus, after we receive a complaint from a tenant, Public Health will inspect the rental housing property and will order the landlord and/or rental property owner to hire a certified professional, such as an environmental consultant or industrial hygienist, to do the following: evaluate the rental housing property for smoke, ash, and soot damage, including the interior of the unit or units and building systems, such as the attic, HVAC systems, insulation, and ductwork. 2, perform testing as warranted to evaluate the fire's impact on the property and hire certified professionals to perform any necessary remediation. If repairs or improvements are needed, the inspector will verify with the rental property owner that the recommended work has been completed. Public Health intends to work with rental property owners to achieve the appropriate evaluation and remediation, but the failure to comply can result in an administrative hearing where fines and other remedies might be ordered. State law requires rental property owners to make sure rental housing units are safe and habitable. Because of the very close proximity of Altadena to the Eaton fire burn area, professional evaluation of the building structures and systems by certified environmental consultants or industrial hygienists is necessary to accurately assess the habitability of the rental housing units. Tenants who live in unincorporated Altadena can contact the county's rental housing habitability program to make a complaint by phone by calling 888-700-9995 and selecting option 3, or by emailing dph-rhhp@ph.lacounty.gov. Thank you for your time today.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Chavez, and I'm the Public Information Officer for the LA County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs. And I'm here today to speak and share some information that can be helpful for commercial tenants that were affected by the Eaton fire. And our information is in collaboration with the information that you'll hear from the Department of Public Health. So in general, how can DCBA help not only commercial tenants, but any consumers? A couple different ways. 1, through free one-on-one counseling. 2, we can accept complaints against businesses, employers, landlords, and so on. And we can also connect you to resources if perhaps we're not the best agency to work on your particular case. This QR code here will take you to our main DCBA website page where you can find more information about how we can help you. So when it comes to commercial tenants, DCBA it does not oversee commercial tenant issues in the county, but we can provide some general resources to those that might be affected. One of the main ways that we can help you is by offering our free mediation services. Here at DCBA, we have mediators that can help facilitate communication between parties and help you work towards a possible resolution. Now, mediation is a voluntary process in which a neutral third party will assist the two other parties in hopefully resolving their dispute. Now, the catch is that both parties must be willing to participate. So if the other party involved doesn't want to participate, then unfortunately, we won't be able to help you through a mediation case. But if there's an opportunity for a landlord and a tenant to work together to reach a solution, then we hope you'll consider a DCBA mediation to get that going. So you can reach out to us by visiting our website at dcba.lacounty.gov/mediation to learn more about how DCBA's mediation or dispute resolution services could help you. Another important way that commercial tenants can get some help is to file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. Now, the FTC investigates businesses that are suspected of committing fraud, deception, or unfair business practices. The best way to file a complaint with the FTC is through their website. You can visit reportfraud.ftc.gov. Another important tip that we have for commercial tenants is to make sure that you review both your renter's insurance policy and your lease agreement closely. Now, if you have renter's insurance, you'll want to make sure that you contact your insurance provider to make sure that you're clear about everything that's included in your policy coverage. Your provider could also inform you if there are any services or assistance available to you, to tenants, specifically impacted by the Eaton fire or other disasters. And when it comes to your lease agreement, please look closely at that rental agreement to make sure that you understand all the terms, all the responsibilities, and perhaps if rent that is include whether rent that is owed, regardless of a unit's accessibility. Now, it could very well be that a commercial tenant in a situation like this will have to get legal help. And here at LA County, there are many available lawyer referral services available to you. An attorney could provide further guidance about the legality of some of these issues and some of the conditions and specifics that are involved in a particular lease agreement. Now, here at DCBA, we work with several legal aid organizations, and they're listed on the screen there, including the State Bar of California, the LA County Bar Association, the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles, and Bet-Zedek Legal Services. In addition, our partner agency, the Department of Economic Opportunity, has a lot of services available for businesses, including some referral services to legal services as well. Now, if you're in a situation where the landlord owes you money, then we would recommend that small claims court could be a good option for you. And here at DCBA, we have small claims court advisors that can help you through that process. So again, if you need to sue a person, business, or even a government agency that owes you money, you can go to small claims court. Individuals can sue for up to $12,500, and businesses can sue for up to $6,250. And again, here at DCBA, we have dedicated small claims court advisors that can help you through that process to make sure that you do everything correctly step by step. You can visit our website at dcba.lacounty.gov/small-claims to learn more about small claims court. Most of all, DCBA is here for you. There's lots of ways you can keep in contact with us. Our main phone number is 800-593-8222. You can speak to a counselor Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. You can visit our website at dcba.lacounty.gov, and you can follow us on social media at LA County DCBA. In addition, DCBA is proud to operate the Altadena Community Center. Now, right now, it is primarily being used as a temporary survivor support location for federal, state, and local agencies responding and helping out people who are directly affected by the fire. So you're welcome to walk in and get help from DCBA and those other agencies. Again, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. In addition, we're beginning to open up more services and including our community room there at the Altadena Community Center is beginning to host more events that have a direct connection to help people get through the rebuilding and recovery process through the fire. You can find more information about what's going on at the Altadena Community Center, including some upcoming workshops from DCBA, specifically for older adults. You can find that information at dcba.lacounty.gov/Altadena-Center. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I'm Ethan Marquez, the captain of Altadena Sheriff Station. I'd like to take a few minutes to update you on recent crime trends in Altadena with a particular focus on home burglaries. Over the past several months, we've seen a dramatic decrease in home burglaries. While Altadena recovers from the Eaton fire, the Sheriff's Department will continue to keep our staffing levels elevated. Unfortunately, in July, we had 7 home burglaries. In August, we had 8. And preliminarily in September, we've had 5. I would like to remind everybody that crime prevention is always a shared responsibility, and to continue with the crime prevention strategies we've mentioned in the past regarding motion-activated cameras, reporting crimes, and calling the station when you believe a crime has occurred or may be occurring. Our deputies are actively increasing patrols in affected neighborhoods, conducting follow-up investigations, and working closely with regional partners to identify patterns and suspects. Your Altadena detectives have also executed several search warrants and taken many of the burglars to jail, which has helped reduce some of the crime activity. Our mission is not only to respond to crime, but to build trust for the entire community of Altadena. Thank you for your time, your vigilance, and your commitment to our community.
Hi, I'm Dean Logan, Registrar Recorder County Clerk for LA County. To everyone impacted by the wildfires, please know that our office is here to support you with uninterrupted access to voter registration and official vital and property records. We understand you may have questions about your voter registration and what your options are to make sure you receive future election materials while temporarily living away from home. The first step you should take is to check your voter registration status. This can be done easily at lavote.gov. If you've been temporarily displaced due to wildfires or any other circumstance, you do not need to change your voter registration. You can keep your home address so your voting districts remain the same. All you need to do is add a temporary mailing address, and we'll make sure your ballot and election materials reach you. There are 2 simple ways to update your voter registration with a temporary mailing address. First, you can update your registration at registertovote.ca.gov. Enter your home address and then add a temporary mailing address. Or if you prefer to speak with a representative, please call us at 1-800-815-2666 and select option 2. We can update your mailing address for you. If you filed a change of address with the U.S. Postal Service, our office may receive that update automatically. When that happens, we'll send you a notice asking you to confirm your home and mailing addresses. We don't make any changes until we hear back from you, which ensures your voter registration remains accurate and secure. If you permanently relocated, you should re-register with your new residence address. Just keep in mind that this may change your voting districts. Remember, if you're unsure about your voter registration information, you can always check your status at our website at lavote.gov. In addition to voter registration, our office can also help replace essential records you may need as you recover, things like birth, death, marriage, or property documents at no cost. If fires have directly impacted you and you need a replacement birth, death, or marriage record, call us at 1-800-201-8999 and select option 1. For property records, select option 3. If you have questions or need assistance with voter registration, call 1-800-815-2666 and select option 2. If you prefer email, you can reach us at rrccfireassistance@rrcc.lacounty.gov for assistance obtaining vital and property records, or voterinfo@rrcc.lacounty.gov for assistance with your voter registration. Please know that we are committed to supporting you during this difficult time, and our priority is to help you access the records you need to recover and rebuild.